Now on CoastTV News.
Bed tax battle. Lewis moves one step closer to increasing the cost on hotels and other lodging businesses.
Homes heading to Georgetown, that is on track as the town council takes up a rezoning request.
School construction countdown. We look at the project in Milford that hopes to meet the demands of a growing population.
A warm and dry Monday for Delmarva, then showers increasing late tonight into Tuesday with occasional showers and some thunderstorms the rest of the week. Details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. It is Monday, May 12th, 2025.
It could be a bit toasty today by the
Yes.
time we hit the afternoon, just hearing what Bob might be saying.
I do want to point something out. So it's May 12th. Bob just said Memorial Day weekend is 2 weeks
Yes.
away. That is crazy.
That is.
That is one of your favorite weekends.
It just kicks off the summer. I'm
Yes.
always excited about Memorial
Yes.
Day weekend, Bob.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You're not alone, Matt. I know it's like, the unofficial start to summer. And, just 2 weeks away to Memorial Day. It's a chilly start out there this morning. Now we're at 49 in Salisbury, 50 in Willards. So some places inland will be dipping into the upper 40s, but low 50s now from Delmar up to Redden. Along the coast, a little warmer, 60 in Lewis, 58 Bethany Beach, 60 Indian River Inlet. The winds are calm, light, and variable. We're looking at some mid to high-level clouds right now. So it should be a pretty sunrise out there with a weak cold front over the top of us right now, separating the cooler air to the north and the moist air to the south and west. We are seeing a few showers around the Norfolk area back into the Carolinas. I think that'll stay to our south today, but deeper moisture, heavier rain across the deep south will increase our rain chances for tonight. But a chilly start, but quickly warming up from the 40s in through the 50s, 7 a.m., 9 a.m. into the 60s. I think we're looking at some of that filtered sunshine throughout much of the day. Upper 70s around the noon hour, and then some inland spots hitting 80, cooler at the coast. Thicker clouds later this afternoon, probably knocking those temperatures down just a little bit. Ferry riding forecast looking good. We're looking at light winds out of the southeast, so not too much of a chop on the water, with some increasing clouds starting out in the 50s, but by late morning in the low 70s.
All right, thanks, Bob. We're going to stay in that area where that ferry is. We're getting a live look now of the canal in Lewis. Several hotels along the banks there, and today is a day that could impact those type of businesses. Our top story this hour is that the city could take a step towards implementing a new lodging tax. And for some hotels and bed and breakfast inns, that tax could be as much as 5.5% of gross receipts. The draft of this ordinance that was crafted in February is up for review at tonight's mayor and city council meeting, and they could actually vote on it. If it is approved, the ordinance goes into effect January 1st, 2026.
Also at that meeting, the city will discuss a date for a public hearing on development at the old Lewis Dairy. According to the city's agenda, the council is planning on May 27th for Roosevelt Landing's public hearing. The proposed subdivision would create 8 single-family homes at the site of the Lewis Dairy on Pilottown Road. Council will tackle this hearing date today.
Those topics are just two of several big items that are up for review. There's also a debate and potential action on the funding of a new water storage tank that could hold up to 1 million gallons. Debating potential changes in the enforcement of the city code chapter as it relates to accessory dwelling units. Council could also take action on establishing a resiliency fund.
Happening tonight, more housing moving one step closer in Georgetown. The town council there is scheduled to have the first reading of an ordinance. It would change the land use designation for a nearly 22-acre parcel at 644 North Bedford Street from single-family residential to mixed residential. This proposed change would allow the construction of 60 single-family homes, 28 duplexes, and 20 townhomes.
New this morning, the Milford School District says the city's growing population is causing overcrowding in schools. Now, right now, there's no middle school. That's about to change. Construction of a middle school is in the final stages. School District COO, Dr. Sarah Hale, and future principal of the middle school, Dr. Susan Frampton, say other Milford schools were just getting too crowded.
Having this building open really allowed us to restructure the entire district to allow for growth well into the future.
While planning for the future, they'll also preserve the past, salvaging parts of the original 1929 structure like the auditorium and gymnasium.
Today in Sussex County, officials will hear several property reassessment appeals. This comes as the county says only about 800 people have appealed their new home value, which represents roughly 1% of parcels in the county. This is taking place at the Board of Assessment meeting today at 10 a.m.
And we got some breaking news this morning, a possible breakthrough in trade talks between the U.S. and China. Also this week, President Donald Trump will head to the Middle East, dealing with a number of issues that have large global impacts.
As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, the president is expected to tackle Israel-Gaza war ceasefire talks, oil, trade, and investment deals.
And anybody should have known.
President Trump traveling to the Middle East today for the first major foreign trip of his second term, expected to focus on business deals, as Trump administration and Chinese officials revealed new details about a trade deal negotiated this weekend, announcing a 90-day pause for most tariffs beginning Wednesday. The U.S. cutting tariffs on Chinese imports from 145 to 30%, China going from 125 to 10% on U.S. goods, while negotiations continue.
It's important to understand how quickly we were able to come to agreement, which reflects that perhaps the differences were not so large as maybe thought.
With growing concerns over tariff-induced price hikes, President Trump promising an executive order today to slash prescription drug prices by 30 to 80%. His Middle East trip comes amid signs of tension with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over how to approach aggression from Iran and the war in Gaza. After U.S.-Hamas negotiations, the last living American-Israeli hostage in Gaza, Idan Alexander, is expected to be released as soon as today. President Trump calling it hopefully the first and the final steps necessary to end this brutal conflict. The president not currently set to visit Israel this trip, stopping instead in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, as the White House confirmed Qatar offered to donate what four sources call a super luxury jumbo jet to use as the new Air Force One. The sources say it would be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation at the end of his term. Critics, including top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer, blasting the plan as bribery. President Trump defending what he calls a very public and transparent transaction. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We have a little bit more details on that aircraft. The Trump administration is prepared to accept that. They're calling it a palace in the sky. Sources familiar with this deal say the plan has been in the works for some time and will be done according to U.S. and international laws and ethics rules. The $400 million plane will be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation again once Trump ends his second term.
And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, Milford Big Business Plans will tell you what one developer is asking for. That is set to be discussed today.
Also, Flower Fiasco will tell you how tariffs impacted Mother's Day.
And more stores for Chipotle, why some new restaurants will have new and upgraded features. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
6:10 on this Monday morning, a beautiful start to the day. Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam, sun's coming up. Some mid to high level clouds, maybe a little bit of patchy fog out there, so watch for that. Otherwise, well, look at this chilly. Upper 40s, Salisbury and Willards. Otherwise, we're in the low to mid 50s. Inland, some 60s at the coast right now. Visibility is good, but a little lower and some haze and a little bit of fog. Otherwise, we're looking at filtered sunshine for today. Thicker clouds to the southwest and lots of rain developing to our southwest. That will be heading our way beginning tonight. What size coffee? Lisa said it's a Monday. You have to go extra large, and you know that's what I usually do.
Appropriate on a Monday.
It is only appropriate on a Monday. Warm with a high of 80 degrees.
All right, thank you, Bob. And Georgetown's ambulance service is looking to raise some money. Tonight, one council agenda item is talking about a fundraising carnival for the service. Georgetown's ambulance service was founded by the American Legion, and it's also called Station 93. No word yet on when or where that carnival would be and if it gets the green light.
Milford is considering 3 red light cameras, and we're going to show you their locations on your screen on Route 113 at 10th. And 113 at 14. They also have Route 14 and Washington Street. According to city documents, these intersections have frequent red light running. The camera is viewed by city officials as a good option for safety. The Milford Council will debate this at tonight's meeting.
The largest flower district in the United States is seeing prices of flowers be almost double what they were last year for Mother's Day. That's in part because about 80% of flowers are sold in the United States come from overseas. Colombia is the top importing country where we get our flowers from, and it has a 10% tariff. Flower vendors say they think the tariffs plus consumer unease right now is contributing to higher prices.
Chipotle is planning on expanding its footprint both in the U.S. and Canada. The Mexican Grill restaurant says it's opening more than 300 locations this year. 15 to 20 of those stores will be opened in Canada, and 80% will include a drive-through Chipotle lane for digital orders. Chipotle says 57 company-owned restaurants have already opened during the first quarter of 2025.
A gorgeous sunrise over Delaware Bay. Look at these colors on the Tullen Razor Cam. Just glorious out there. And we're warming through the 60s to around 70 by 10 a.m. as we're looking at a warm and dry Monday on the way. But don't get used to the dry weather. Increasing showers and storms beginning late tonight into Tuesday and continuing the rest of the week with some heavy rain possible with storms. I'll have your full forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 6:15. Everyone, check out this live shot we're showing you here. This is the sunrise over the Roosevelt Inlet and Lewis. Love these type of shots, Bob. And at least today it'll be dry during the daylight hours.
Right, exactly. And then after that, all bets are off, Matt. But like today is the day that you want to be on the golf course, on the beach, if you like the dry weather, because we do have changes on the way. Here's the storyline for today. It's mild with mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the 70s to around 80 inland areas, a little cooler at the beaches. Showers develop tonight, and then Tuesday through Wednesday, on and off rain. Some downpours possible, especially Tuesday night with some thunderstorms too. And then later in the week, it's warm, it's muggy with some isolated showers or storms. As we'll see, rain chances start to ramp up, I think, late tonight into early Tuesday, scattered tomorrow morning, and then Tuesday night it's widespread with heavy rain possible with thunderstorms, and then widely scattered into Wednesday. Looks like another uptick on Thursday with scattered showers, and then isolated to widely scattered Friday into the weekend. The weekend won't be a washout, but it'll have that summer feel with humidity too, with temperatures into the 80s. As we're looking at some mid to high level clouds right now, but as we just saw a beautiful sunrise out there with the cold front pretty much right over the top of Delmarva, some cooler air to the north and warmer and a little more juicier air to the south and west, with Norfolk seeing a few showers and then those showers back into the Carolinas as we're watching low pressure spinning across Mississippi and Alabama, and this will be slowly heading to the north and east, bringing the rain and some of the storms and the humidity as well from the south, from the Gulf, and that will continue to move up to the northeast as we go through the next few days. Temperatures out the door are chilly, 49 in Salisbury and Willards, 60 in Ocean City, 57 in Bethany Beach, 52 in Georgetown, Milton right now at 54. So definitely quite chilly inland areas, but the winds are calm. And here's Futurecast showing those temperatures quickly recovering through the 50s to around 60 degrees by 7 a.m. By 9 a.m. we're into the 60s, and by lunchtime upper 70s, most inland spots getting close to 80 degrees with cooler 60s at the coast, maybe 58 Dewey Beach. I don't know. I think it's a little warmer than that with mid 60s to some lower 70s at the beaches, 79 in Millsboro, 80 in Georgetown back through Seaford. Then I think we thicken up the clouds as we go through the evening hours. I think it's remaining dry early evening, and then overnight, that's when we start to increase that shower chance as we go into Tuesday morning, and then those showers becoming more widespread as we go into Tuesday morning, and you start to see some of these yellow colors showing up. Maybe that's some heavier rain as we go into the afternoon as the onshore flow becomes a little stronger, and it's cooler tomorrow with the clouds and that onshore flow. Then here comes the heavy rain tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. Look at all the yellow, orange, and some red indicating some heavier rain and also some thunderstorms as well. Not expecting anything severe, but certainly could be noisy and quite wet for sure. And then we go into Wednesday morning, still seeing some scattered showers and storms as it will be muggy with temperatures in the 60s, and it will be a very muggy air mass mass building into the rest of the week. And as far as rain, as we go through the rest of the week, we're looking at some places in excess of 2 inches of rain, and maybe along the coast too, we could be looking at in excess of 2 inches of rain. So hopefully we spread this out over several days, which we will, and we don't look at any flooding potential. And as we look into Wednesday, I think we're still looking at isolated to scattered showers and storms, and that continues basically the rest of the week. I think those storms becoming more isolated as we go into the weekend. Paul, they have a 7-day forecast today, really the only dry day with a high of 80 degrees. And then Tuesday, much cooler with that onshore flow, 72 with showers, heavier rain tomorrow night, some thunderstorms as well. And then Wednesday, I think the real heavy rain backs off, 77, and then just some summer-like storms end of the week. 80 Thursday, 83 on Friday. The weekend, not a washout, but heads up for storms on Saturday, 85. It will be muggy too. And then Sunday, a little drier, but still quite warm and a high of 83.
All right, thank you, Bob. This little open lot in Milford that you'll see above my shoulder could become new apartments and new businesses. Developer Zach King wants to make this a mixed-use 4-story building with up to 16 apartment units, saying affordable housing is his main goal. King is also proposing a restaurant and bar business on the top of the building and even a business in the basement.
More commercial space we can fit into a building means more rents coming from those commercial tenants, which effectively means less money we have to make off the apartment units.
Milford City Council will hear a conditional use application on the project tonight.
And here's exactly where that would go. You can see that location on your screen right now. It's the lot between 111 and 115 North Walnut Street in Milford.
Up next on Coast TV News Today, baby ducks back with their mother. We've got the story of this rescue that happened over the weekend. We'll be right back.
New overnight, one mother duck is reunited with her baby ducks after they fell into a storm drain in Rehoboth Beach over the weekend. According to the Lewis Fire Department, this happened around 10:30 on Sunday night, which was also Mother's Day. The agency says this took place at the Surfside outlets, and crews removed the grate and were able to return all 6 ducklings. And if you want more information on the story, you can head to CoastTV.com.
80 years ago this week, a German submarine surrendered off the coast of Lewis, the first Axis surrender in U.S. waters. And our special story, Surrender at Sea, looks at how Delaware played a role in the final days of World War II. And you can catch that Wednesday during Coast TV News at 6.
Matt, Bob said something you and I do not like. It's humidity, because we care about our hair.
I know he's been tracking that all week. And yes, that is a cause of concern when it comes to this.
A big cause of concern.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, that means you probably need to apply more hairspray.
Lots of hairspray.
Yeah. I know my hair goes poof, when the humidity goes up, and I'm going to have to dust off that muggy meter in the days to come. But at the beaches today, I think we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds. UV index is moderate, close to 70 in Chincoteague, a little cooler in Assateague, into the mid-60s air. But the UV index is moderate, so still make sure you have that sunscreen handy. If you're headed to Ocean City, a little cooler with mid to upper 60s with some cloud cover, becoming cloudy later in the day too. Fenwick Island, waves around 1 to 3 feet. And on the Bayside, the next 3 days, we've got changes. 80 in Cambridge today, and then 72 cooler with rain Tuesday. Storms into Tuesday night and Wednesday, maybe some heavy rain, and similar conditions for Crisfield too. Mid-70s, a little cooler for you, 69 with the rain Tuesday. You too could see storms Tuesday night, and then Wednesday, 75. And then we start to increase the humidity and the heat for the end of the week with increasing showers and thunderstorms. More isolated, in fact, I think by the end of the weekend, looking better for the weekend. I'll have much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News Today, Milford makes room, a new middle school restored from the past as it's opening in just a few months.
Also, appeals at the ready. The property reassessments getting a review today in Sussex County.
And Focus on Resiliency Fund will tell you the proposed options being discussed in Lewis tonight. Coast TV News Today will be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Damage defense dollars. The action Lewis officials could take tonight in protecting the city from the elements, and where they plan to get that money to pay for it.
Airport anxiety, the continuing issue at one of our region's biggest airports, and the massive disruption it has caused.
Middle school momentum, the big project in Milford that is a mix of the old and the new.
A warm and dry Monday for Delmarva, then showers increasing late tonight into Tuesday with occasional showers and some thunderstorms the rest of the week. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
May 12th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Time is 6:28. A rock the red Monday with the Capitals looking to even their playoff series.
You clearly got the memo.
Yeah, you and I are not playing along. No red here.
No red here, but I think Bob is secretly rooting for the Capitals
I think
because
he
the
is,
last
too.
time they played, he had a red tie on. I don't think he's an Islander fan. I don't think he is. I think it was the Capitals.
Well, you know, since my Islanders are out of the playoffs, I'll back the Caps, you know, and see if they can fight their way back into the series. But the Hurricanes look pretty tough, so hopefully it goes well for both teams. I don't know if that's possible. Some teams got to win. 49 in Salisbury and Willards this morning. It's chilly there. 51 in Gumboro, 52 in Georgetown, 54 in Milton. A little milder at the beaches with 50s to low 60s from Lewis to 60 in Ocean City. As the winds are calm right now, just a light onshore flow. As we're looking at some mid to high low clouds, nothing in the way of precipitation. There is a front draped across Delmarva right now, separating some cooler air to the north, and then farther to the south of this front, it's clouds, even some showers through Norfolk back into the Carolinas. I think we stay dry today, but we're not holding back this moisture farther to the southwest. Low pressure will start to head our way, bringing rain chances, increasing them as we go into tonight and Tuesday. Here's Futurecast this morning. It's a chilly start, but then warming through the 50s into the 60s by mid-morning. By noon, some filtered sunshine, some cooler conditions at the beaches, so keep that in mind. We'll be looking at low to mid 60s there, around 69 in Rehoboth around noon, but upper 70s from Salisbury to Millsboro, and I think some places will touch 80 by, say, the 2 or 3 o'clock hour. Then as the clouds thicken up through the afternoon and evening hours, we'll see those temperatures start to fall a little bit from the 70s into the 60s, and then thicker clouds this evening, but I think we do keep it dry. Drivecast this morning, I gave it the green light. Watch out for a little bit of haze, maybe some light fog, otherwise dry and cool. As I said, some places starting out in the 40s, and then for the PM commute, we're in good shape. Gave it the green light there. Dry and warm conditions. Then I think after midnight, that's when rain chances increase, and that rain on and off pretty much all week long. Much more on your forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. And we are now getting a live look outside at the Roosevelt Inlet in Lewis. That's absolutely beautiful. And that's a big route for boats making their way into the Atlantic Ocean and the Delaware Bay. The city is looking at paying for protecting areas like this against damage from the elements. And our top story this half hour, we could see the next steps in getting a resiliency fund finalized. Tonight, the City Council is preparing to take action on a solution, and they say the money will help prevent and react to natural disasters. To pay for this, money will flow from existing sources like property taxes and parking revenue. It will set aside funds for fixing infrastructure and responding to storm damage. Lewis says they want to build a fund of $3 to $5 million in the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, and the resiliency fund is just one of several big items on tonight's City Council agenda. There is also a public hearing on the Roosevelt Landing subdivision debating potential changes in the enforcement of the city code chapter relating to accessory dwelling units. Council could also take action on implementing a gross receipts tax on businesses like hotels and bed and breakfast inns.
Happening tonight, more housing moving one step closer in Georgetown. The town council there is scheduled to have the first reading of an ordinance. It would change the land use designation for a nearly 22-acre parcel at 644 North Bedford Street from single-family residential to mixed residential. This proposed change would allow the construction of 60 single-family homes, 28 duplexes, and 20 townhomes.
Later today, Sussex County's Board of Assessment will hear several property appeals. This comes as officials say only about 800 people have appealed their new home value. That represents roughly 1% of parcels in all of Sussex County. Board of Assessment meeting today is at 10 a.m.
Growing communities affect every aspect of their surroundings, and in Milford, the school district says the growing population is causing overcrowding in its schools.
Right now, there's no middle school, but as Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, that's about to change.
Construction in its final stages on the Milford Middle School. Regine Bowe went to the school before it closed in 2012 Now her niece will attend the restored building when it opens this fall for classes.
Going into a new school is very exciting. Like, everything's new and you get to tell everyone about it. So I think she's going to be excited to have these stories and tell me how nice it is.
For a city with no current middle school, heaven is how School District COO Dr. Sarah Hale and future principal of the middle school, Dr. Susan Frampton, described the feeling of this new opportunity. And they say other Milford schools were just getting too crowded.
Having this building open really allowed us to restructure the entire district to allow for growth well into the future.
While planning for the future, they also preserved the past, salvaging parts of the original 1929 structure like the auditorium and gymnasium.
5th and 6th is such a special time for kids. It's kind of the transition from being little guys to their secondary experience.
And for roughly 700 of them, that experience will begin when they walk through these doors in August. In Milford, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
As you just saw there, that building will now serve grades 5 and 6. The current elementary school will house pre-K through 4th grade, and Milford Central Academy will now be for grades 7 and 8 before transitioning to high school.
We could soon see a deal on tariffs with China. In a joint statement, the U.S. and China say they will each cut them by 115 percentage points for 90 days. The countries say they're committing to ongoing trade talks during that time. President Donald Trump imposed a 145% tariff hike on many Chinese imports, and China retaliated. Goldman Sachs now predicts a key inflation gauge will double by year's end.
The global economy is not a light switch. You can't just turn off and off the U.S.-China economic relationship and then expect there's not going to be some short-circuiting.
National Retail Federation forecasts at least a 20% drop in U.S. imports year over year in the second half of 2025.
Developing news across the country, flights were once again grounded at Newark International Airport following another equipment outage. The FAA says this was a at Philadelphia Tracon area, which guides aircrafts in and out of the airport. The incident comes after a 90-second-long radar and radio outage on Friday at that same facility, as well as a similar incident on April 28th.
Google will pay the state of Texas $1.4 billion over alleged privacy violations. According to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the tech giant secretly tracked people's movements, private searches through their products and services. He also said Google tracked people's voice prints and facial geometry. A Google spokesperson says the resolution, quote, settles a raft of old claims, many of which have already been resolved elsewhere, concerning product policies we have long since changed, end quote. Still got a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Milford manager discussion will tell you the terms of employment being discussed in the city tonight.
Also, Schwarber shots. Big night from the Phillies' big bat in the rubber game in Cleveland.
And Fenwick election prep will tell you what you need to know before heading to the polls. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
6:38 on a pretty pleasant Monday morning. It is on the chilly side. Got our helmet cam. 55 in Ocean View with some high clouds right now. Sun is on the rise. 49 in Willards and Salisbury, so pretty chilly there. Elsewhere, pretty cool inland with low to mid 50s, with 50s and low 60s at the beaches. Lewis and Rehoboth right now at 58. Visibility is good, about 9 to 10 miles, but do watch out for areas of some fog and haze. Otherwise, we're looking at dry conditions right now, and we have a little front over the top of us, but deeper moisture to our south and west. In fact, look at all this rain across the southeast. That will be heading our way with time, but not today, so we don't need the raincoat or the umbrella today. A different story as we go into the rest of the week. Heavier jacket this morning, lighter clothing this afternoon, warm beverage. That's a good idea this morning with the cool conditions. Make sure you have your sunscreen and sunglasses handy too. In case you missed it earlier, Steve Bonowski from Bethany Beach is the new owner of an umbrella, courtesy of CoastTV and Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling.
Thank you, Bob. New this morning in Fenwick Island, locals seeking leadership positions have the opportunity to apply. The town will hold its municipal election on August 2nd. There are 4 seats up for grabs. The deadline to file to run is on June 18th, and the deadline to register to vote in the town is on June 30th. And happening now in Bridgeville, officials are looking to hire a new town manager. Officials will discuss this along with several other topics at tonight's commission meeting. According to the agenda, officials will also discuss an ordinance relating to property tax fees and a vacant commission seat in District 4. Bridgeville's council will gather tonight at 7 p.m. And officials in Berlin will also gather for a council meeting today. According to the agenda, there will be a public hearing for an ordinance on the fiscal year 2026 budget, and officials could approve a special event application for a local family reunion. Also, the council will hear a presentation on a possible appointment of a board, commission, and committee member. Berlin officials will gather tonight at 6 p.m. to discuss all of this.
Rubber game of the Phillies series in Cleveland. In the 13 games since being swept by the Mets last month, the Phillies are on a heater, posting a 10-3 mark during that time. Kyle Schwarber gets the party started right, gets it started early, second inning, mashes that Luis Ortiz pitch. It's a solo shot and a 1-0 Phillies lead, and that was all the scoring until the 8th. Schwarber again. This one a two-run tater. Kyle Schwarber, a one-man wrecking crew, and a 3-0 win. Phillies back home with the Cardinals tonight. And speaking of the Cards, they were in the district. Nationals were swept by the Cardinals. That's where outscored 20-3 in the three-game series. Gunnar Henderson hit a two-run homer as the Orioles scored 4 in the 6th inning. Birds get a 7-3 win and take that series against the Angels. On the Orioles farm, rough season for the Shorebirds continuing Sunday. They were routed and shut out in Myrtle Beach by the Pelicans. It was the Shorebirds' 23rd loss in 33 games. Birds back at it at Purdue tomorrow to begin a series with Fredericksburg. NASCAR's at Kansas. Kyle Larson, another dominating effort, winning all stages, leading 221 of the race's 267 laps. It's his third win of the season and the 32nd of his career.
And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 4 p.m., Sussex Tech hosts Polytech and girls soccer. Then it's the final score at 10:30. On the DSN Plus app, you can watch that game plus these exclusives. At 4 p.m., Sussex Central travels to St. Mark's in softball. At 4:15, Polytech faces Laurel in baseball. And at 5:30, Sussex Central hosts Smyrna in girls soccer. And high-profile trials involving celebrities are underway in both New York and Paris. David Daniel has the latest in today's Hollywood Minute.
Final jury selection and opening statements are expected today in New York in the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of sex trafficking, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, and 1 count of racketeering conspiracy. He could face life in prison if convicted. Combs rejected a proposed plea deal before the trial began. Across the Atlantic, Kim Kardashian is set to testify Tuesday in the trial of her alleged armed robbers. In 2016, a gang bound and gagged Kardashian, locked her in the bathroom of her Paris apartment, and stole jewelry worth nearly $10 million, including a 20-carat diamond engagement ring from her then-husband Kanye West. Kardashian has called it the scariest thing that's ever happened to her. 10 people are on trial, charged with armed robbery, kidnapping, and criminal conspiracy. 8 of the defendants have denied the charges. It's believed to be France's biggest robbery ever of an individual person. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can share up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can expect this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Well, we hope you had a great weekend, Coastal Delmarva, but it's back at it for a Monday. Here's what's coming up today on the show. We know you've been loving all the things I've been wearing. It's all from our friends at Water Lily, and we're going to chat with Lily Aller more about what she does and who she is.
And sometimes Mondays can be a little slow going. If you need something to get you upbeat, we have the Fitzky brothers coming in. Some incredible music. These young guys have played with some huge names. You will not want to miss this, I promise.
They rock. And you can catch all of that fun and some more today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Hazy sunshine to start our Monday on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Camp. 53 in Laurel, a chilly start, but a warm and dry Monday on the way for the region with increasing showers and storms beginning Tuesday, continuing the rest of the week. But I think the heavier rain Tuesday night into early Wednesday. I'll have much more on the rain and how much we could see in my full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 6:46, and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning. And Bob, this is a beautiful shot, my favorite of the day, the Roosevelt Inlet in Lewis right there. And Bob, we're expecting good weather today, a little bit cooler this morning before rain comes in later this week.
Absolutely, and boy, that sun just shimmering off the bay like that, just another reason why I love living in Delaware along the East Coast. Yes, we do have big changes on the way. As we go through the next several days, an unsettled pattern develops Tuesday through Thursday with on and off showers. I think we could be looking at some downpours and some heavier thunderstorms, especially as we go into tomorrow night and early Wednesday. And it's possible we could see some minor flooding, but it's been dry the last few days, so I think the ground will be pretty receptive to the rain. As low pressure tracks to our west, we'll see a strong southeasterly flow with the rain and some of that thunder as well. I don't think we're looking at severe weather, but definitely a good soaking of rain as we go through time. So rain chances the next several days starts to ramp up as we go into late tonight and Tuesday, and especially Tuesday night. Widespread heavy rain is possible with some thunderstorms, and then widely scattered showers Wednesday. Another uptick into the scattered range on Thursday. Then I think it's isolated to widely scattered as we go into the weekend. I know we have the big horse race as we go into Saturday, Preakness, and it looks like it's going to be warm and muggy, maybe with some spotty thunderstorms at that time in the Baltimore area. Temperatures now chilly. Salisbury and Willard's 49, 52 Georgetown, Millsboro and Dagsboro 51 with 50s and low 60s at the beaches. But these temperatures quickly rising now with the sun up and the winds are calm. So we have mid to high level clouds over top right now. We have a weak boundary kind of bisecting Delmarva. To the north, cooler air. To the south, more moisture. In fact, some showers around Norfolk, and then heavier rain back through the Carolinas into the Atlanta area. You see low pressure swirling here across the deep south, and then this will be tracking to the northeast, bringing that chance for showers and storms and that mugginess too, as the moisture is getting tapped out of the Gulf of America and getting kind of flung right up the East Coast. So we'll be looking at the humidity levels rising through the week as temperatures quickly rise this morning through the 60s, and then I think we will see those filtered clouds, high clouds from time to time with filtered sunshine. By noon, 78 Millsboro, 78 in Delmar, cooler 60s at the beaches, and then as we go into the afternoon, close to 80 inland areas, but then the clouds increase. I think the temperatures will come down a little bit as the clouds thicken this evening. We stay dry, and then the showers increase after midnight, become more widespread as we go into Tuesday, and some of those showers becoming heavy at times, especially as we go into Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. Look at the area of yellow and orange indicating the heavy rain with thunder at that time, and then we go into Wednesday and still looking at scattered showers and storms. And I think the steady rain will start to back off as we go towards the latter part of the week, but still unsettled as we go into Thursday and Friday with scattered showers to isolated showers and storms. And then by Friday, still looking at some of those storms. And then by Saturday, you can see around 5 p.m., it's a little rainy around the Baltimore area, so it could be a little wet for Preakness with some scattered storms for us, as we could be looking at 2 to maybe 3 inches of rain plus. This is a new model indicating perhaps some heavier rain building in, so a good soaking, hopefully not falling all at one time. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 80 today, and then back to 72 on Tuesday with the showers, the heavier rain Tuesday night into Wednesday with storms, and then showers and storms basically the rest of the week, and temperatures increasing too into the 80s for highs by Thursday, and then looking warm and muggy with storms Friday, more isolated storms Saturday 85, partly cloudy Sunday and 83.
All right, thank you, Bob. Milford is deciding how much it wants to pay its next city manager. According to documents submitted ahead of Monday night's meeting, an offer to the city manager candidate now sits at $180,000. But the current city manager, Mark Whitfield, who is retiring, has suggested that the city up that to $195,000. The reasoning is getting the salary in line with similar municipalities. You may remember Rehoboth Beach made some big waves for paying its new city manager $250,000 a year plus $50,000 for moving expenses, and also that $750,000 housing loan.
Protect your pets in Wycomico County this month. The health department is offering a rabies clinic. The agency says the walk-up clinic is $10 per pet, Owners must show proof of previous rabies vaccinations if they choose the 3-year dosage. This is taking place May 17th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at 108 East Main Street.
Developing news that we are tracking in Worcester County, Maryland. State police are investigating after shots were fired into a Pocomoke City home on Stockton Road. Police say it was at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday. Fortunately, we're being told no one was hurt.
And the time is now 6:52, so we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day, look at this adorable dog on your screen right now, is Molly May. Molly May brings joy wherever she goes, has an adventurous spirit, and loves, Elisa, meeting new people.
Aw, well, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva, and thank you so much to Molly's family in Millsboro for submitting her to us. And of course, send us photos and tell us what makes your pet so special. You can take a look at your screen.
And if you do that, you'll see that QR code top center. Scan it, get your photos of your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:55 and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. Today, Lewis could take a big step towards implementing a new lodging tax for some hotels and bed and breakfasts. The tax would be as much as 5.5% of gross receipts. This draft of this ordinance was crafted back in February and is up for review at tonight's mayor and city council meeting. And they could actually vote on it at that meeting. And if it is approved, the ordinance goes into effect January 1st, 2026.
Milford School District says the city's growing population causing overcrowding in schools, and right now there is no middle school there, but that is about to change. Construction of a middle school in the final stages. School District COO Dr. Sarah Hale and future principal of the middle school, Dr. Susan Frampton, say other Milford schools were just getting too crowded.
The city of Milford is considering 3 red light cameras. You can see that area on your screen right now. It's on Route 113 at 10th and then 113 at 14th, then also Route 14 at Washington Street. According to city documents, these intersections have frequent red light running, and a camera is viewed as a good safety option. And the time is now 6:56. We're going to take another look at your Monday forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, perhaps the best day to be outdoors this week, Bob.
I would think so, for the reason that I think it's going to be the driest day of the week, Elisa and Matt. And then after today, we see the weather start to go downhill. But here's your day part forecast. Starting out cool in the 40s and 50s, but then a nice warm up. Winds start to turn to the south. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds, I think becoming cloudier this afternoon. And before it clouds up, around 80 inland, cooler at the coast. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. We see the showers building in tonight and especially into Tuesday. Cooler with a high of only 72. I think we could be looking at heavier rain and thunderstorms. We're watching for that tomorrow night. And then Wednesday through Friday, pretty showery. 77 Wednesday, 80 with storms on Thursday, 83. I think storms are becoming more isolated Friday, so definitely a summer feel heading into the weekend with stray storms on Saturday, 85. I think we dry it out on Sunday, but we keep the muggies around. 83, it's going to be quite humid, and then humid into early next weekend, and starting to feel like summer for sure.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
Until then, have a great Monday morning, everybody.